But the value that all women bring, regardless as to the situation, is your femininity, your beauty, which is your fitness and your face and your fitness, and the ability to inspire. That is something that's universal. Your femininity and your beauty doesn't matter if you're a working woman. Hello, how are you?
Hi.
How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Mr. Samuel?
I am well. How old are you?
I am 29.
All right. Winter is coming. What do we got?
So my question for you is, what is the role of a modern day wife?
Well, a modern day wife. The role of a wife in general is to be a helpmeet, but it really depends upon the husband.
Right.
What is that particular modern day woman best suited for? Many women want to be stay-at-home mothers and housewives, but are you the best candidate for that job? Were you raised to do that? Can you be dropped in a house by a man who's making $500,000 a year and get to work? Meaning, you know how to, you're pregnant with a child, you're going to homeschool a kid, you know all the things, you've seen it. Or is it going to be on-the-job training? Most of us didn't see this. Most women went to school. Most of us in our community were born out of wedlock, and we saw working parents. So what is it going to be like being a modern working wife? Well, can you keep the problems of your job away from your home? I was talking to my best friend today about this. One of the things that men hate the most, shout out to Jen, is your work problems. You ladies will go to work, and unfortunately, I'm kind of tipping my hand, because you're working in the work world, you're putting energy, effort, and all this other kind of stuff out there. And you bringing all those problems back home. You want to talk to us about the chick at work and this and that. And then you mess around and tell us about your boss. And we're all like, Jesus Christ. Because we can't do anything about it. Men don't tend to come home and complain or fuss about work.
Right.
Keep work separate and understand that your career, it comes second to him. Everything.
So let me go into JR simp mode at this point. This is what comes with having a working woman. If you choose to have your wife working or a woman working, you have to understand that that's part of the environment a lot of times that she's going to be involved with. She's going to deal with sexual harassment. She's going to be dealing with dudes shooting their shot. She was going to be dealing with bosses harassing her, co-workers, all types of drama. It just happens. And not to say it doesn't happen with men, but it happens a lot of times with women. And part of effectively, and you guys can hate all you want, but this is what, I'm going to say it anyway, because you guys are, anyway. Part of what comes with having a working woman is women communicate. This is how women communicate. If you're dealing with a woman and you really want a serious relationship with a woman and she's not your subordinate or footstool, then she's going to want to communicate her feelings. Otherwise, she's going to be confiding her feelings with another, if her friends, or if not, another man who's receptive to what she has to say. Effectively communicating with a woman is having her tell. Women have to let this stuff out. They have to tell somebody what's going on with them. And you have to let them talk it all out. Even though you may have worked a day as well, but she's a working woman. This is what you signed up for. If you don't want those issues, then have her ass sit at home and take care of the house. But women have to talk out their problems. It's not like men where we go and sit up, drink a beer, and sit down on the couch and we just go over it in our heads. Then women have to talk it out. And if she can't talk it out to you, she'll be talking to that dude, that work husband, that work boyfriend, that UPS guy, whoever, who's going to listen to her, and she's going to end up giving up the... So just my thoughts, food for thought. You can take it how you...
In your life really should come second to your man. Because So many women today have learned how to be successful. Learned how to be independent. That level of vulnerability is scary because in the back of her mind is if I put him first and it don't work out, where does it go into marriage? Fear-based? You don't need to be getting married.
That makes sense.
100. If you're going into marriage fear-based, whether that be I'm afraid that she's going to cheat, I'm afraid that he's going to cheat, I'm afraid that I'm going to lose it all in a divorce, so on and so forth, don't get married. Don't get married. If you have reservations about marriage, don't get married. If you're arguing, you guys can't get along, but you just have to get married, don't get married. You're setting yourself up.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so what value does a woman add then? Because I have been married before and my first marriage did not work out. I am starting to date and I'm interested in a person right now. And we have this debate a lot on what that role looks like for our future.
What value does a woman bring?
Yes, because a lot of...
And what's the debate about? You guys, you want to take him seriously? What do you guys debate? You guys can't come to common ground on how the household's going to work, or he's already telling you what your worth is or what it is that you're bringing? If you guys can't see eye to eye, then basically it's just a sexual relationship. Why are you getting married?
Times the women on here... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, see, and I don't want to tip my hand either. This is an equation that men are... Here's the thing. The value a woman brings to a man who can employ her is different than the value a woman brings that has to work.
Facts.
And that it depends on the man. So I don't want to go into Wednesday's broadcast. But the value that all women bring, regardless as to the situation, is your femininity, your beauty, which is your fitness, and your face and your fitness. That's universal. Your femininity and your beauty doesn't matter if you're a working woman or you're a stay-at-home wife.
Non-negotiable. Non-negotiable, baby.
And the ability to inspire. That is something that is reserved for fathers, leaders, and certain men can inspire men to do things, but the inspiration women can give to a man is on a different level. Wars have been fought over women. The world has been civilized in general for women. But guys have been giving up your main superpower because of the work. Learning how to speak to...
Kevin hit it on the head. You're giving up your superpower. You're trading in, or you're taking it too serious, that which a man values the most, which a man places you up on high. This femininity, this inspiration, this beauty. You're trading it in, maybe because you're dealing with a certain type of man. But this is what's basically being, other than a lot of things are being traded in for a good man at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, the end result will always usually be loneliness. Even if you are married and you're still doing this, it's going to end up in loneliness.
Speak life into your particular man. What does your man's ego eat? And are you a good cook of that?
Love languages, people. Love languages. We all have them.
That is the value you bring because no disrespect, what that mouth do, what this do, what that do, all that comes standard on every model. But what makes men want to come home is what you do for here and here, his head and his heart. That's what makes men want to get home, not for what you do for his genitals. That's important. How you keep a man is not in the bedroom. You keep a man in the rest of the house, and that's regardless as to in the bed, whether you're a stay-at-home wife or a working woman. So come back Wednesday for a follow-up on this as to what value a woman brings to a man, to the average guy, because that's the whole premise of Wednesday's show. But I don't want to get too far into it. So be here at 10 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Got it?
Don't just keep a man in the bedroom. You got to keep him in the rest of the house. Yeah. Yeah. Have him in the kitchen smacking that ass. Have him in the shower while you in there, hopping in the shower with you. While you in there dropping a deuce, him walking in there just to see how you doing. Nah, it's too far right there. It's too far. Way too far. But yeah.
Because, and I'm gonna tell you guys, I've talked to several other creators and other people, because I will say I've noticed that a lot of men who make content, the majority of the men are in marriages or long-term relationship, but I also notice in the comment sections and a lot of times in the back and forth, guys are just like, oh, take Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre and his divorce. I heard so many middle-class guys talk about, oh man, that sucks. She got $300,000 a month and this and that. And I'm like, they're married for 26 years.
Facts.
The woman has to get something out of it. I mean, less than 4% of it. But there are people who are like, oh man, she don't deserve nothing but a French fry. You're just as extreme to me as these women over here who's saying, you know.
And I'm glad he said that. You guys are extremists, like, oh, no. 26 years, bro. But when you ask them, what should she get? Nothing. You got never been married, don't have any kids, never been in a relationship. Or if you are, it's with some woman that's taking care of you or is a 3 or 2 at best.
Abort all boys. Women have more value than just what they do in the bedroom and the kitchen. Now, if you don't know that value, or if you've never seen that value, I understand why it may be hard to put a price tag on it. Just like when I interviewed Blue Jasmine, the woman who said her ex pays for her stuff. There are a lot of guys saying, who would do this, do that? I said, I wouldn't do it, but I understood where she was coming from, because there is something that far too many men speak on that they don't understand. It's a woman as a muse. There are men who do derive inspiration from being around women. And you don't have to accept it or you have to understand it. You have to accept it. And especially the higher you go up the food chain, the more money you make. There is a reason that the average millionaire and billionaire has one woman. He may have access to lots of them. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to speak on this in further detail on Wednesday, because there's a huge gap between here and here.